Do you remember King David? David was a great king, and so was King Solomon, his son. But we had other kings who were not that great. But, you can't get it right every time. This begs the question, do we want a new king today in modern times? If the answer is yes, then we better know how to do it right. Luckily, this week's Torah Parasha explains to us precisely that. The Parasha says, when you enter the land that God, your God, is giving you, you will say, I will appoint a king over myself like all the other nations around me. You may indeed appoint a king over yourself, one that God, your God, chooses. So, who would God choose today to be king of the Jews? According to the Parasha, we want a king like the other nations around us. Well, we've seen before how that could turn out. Maybe instead of a king like the other nations, we'll appoint a king who is himself from the other nations. Someone who's not Jewish, but also not anti-Semitic. How about Donald Trump? Trump would be a great king for the Jews, right? But first, it's necessary that we make sure that he meets all the criteria set by the Torah and checks all the right boxes. The Parsha continues, he must not acquire many horses for himself. Well, I don't think Trump has that many horses, so we're good. Moving on. He must not take many wives for himself, in order that his heart not be distracted. Well, Trump did have a few wives in the past, but the Torah probably just means not to have many wives simultaneously. And in that case, we're good. Moving on. He must not acquire too much silver and gold. Well, Trump does have a lot of money. But if we stick to the literal definition of the Torah, which is silver and gold, rather than cash, then maybe he doesn't have too much. Okay, we're good. Moving on. You may not appoint a foreigner, one who is not your brother, over yourself. So he's got to be Jewish. Well then, I guess it can't be Trump after all. Oh well. But truthfully, it kind of does make sense that the king must be Jewish, because of course the reason for all these rules and limitations imposed upon the king is very simple. The Torah intends to oppose the idea of kings having absolute power, therefore imposing upon them restrictions and limitations. And who are the people who want absolute power? Who wants to control the world? Well, the Jews, of course. And you only really need power limiting rules for people who want to take over the world. Therefore, the king must be Jewish. And when we have a Jewish king, he can channel that ambition and chutzpah to cultivate the Jewish nation to be the best we possibly can.